Hello dear friends, welcome to another video of our English-Kurdish series. I hope you're all doing well. This week we are going to learn the numbers, as you can see, in the Kurdish language. So let's get started. As I always repeat in the videos, pay close attention to the explanations, because the important things about the rules, I try to emphasize them each time, so pay close attention to my explanations. So in the Kurdish language, there are 10 digits, and digits are called hejmare. Hejmare means digit. So let's learn them one by one. Pay close attention to my pronunciation and try to pronounce them as correctly as possible. So let's get started. Sıfır. Sıfır. And do you know the word sıfır and zero? They are the same word? Because sıfır comes from Arabic sıfır. And it entered Spanish, Old Spanish, Italian, French, and English. In the English language we call it zero. In the French it's zéro. This F has been omitted, but this Z and R, as you can see, are the same. So zero and sıfır, zero and sıfır are exactly the same word. Sıfır, zero. Yek, yek, one. Deux, two. Those of you who also are interested in the Persian language will realize quickly that the numbers in the Kurdish language and in the Persian language are exactly the same. Deux, two. Se, three. Char, four. Pinch, five. Shesh, six. Haft, seven. Hasht, eight. Pay close attention to my pronunciation, please. Neh, nine. So I'm going to repeat them at the end of the video. And let's now move on to numbers. And as you can see, I've made it clear, all numbers are made with the help of digits. So you basically use digits to create numbers. And like the logic of the English language, as you can see, you first say 1, and then you say 10 to mean 11. You first say 2, then you say 10 to mean 12. You first say 3, then you say 10 to mean 13. So these are important points. I want you to pay attention, since you can sort of create an analogy with comparing English language and the Kurdish language. So let's see them. Deh, 10. Yazdeh, 11. Duazdeh, this might seem a little bit complicated. Duazdeh, 12. Sezdeh, 13. Chardeh, 14. As you can see, first you say char, which means 4, then you say deh, which means 10, to mean 14. Panzdeh, 15. Shazdeh, 16. Havdeh, 17. Hajdeh, 18. Nozdeh, 19. So guys, as you can see, we've seen the digits and the numbers from 0 to 19 in the Kurdish language. So now let's turn to some examples so that you can understand how to use numbers with nouns. So how to say 5 children, how to say 6 books, how to say 7 fathers, things like that. So let's move on to the examples. So now let's see how to use these numbers with the nouns. So as I mentioned in the previous videos, there is no way to make nouns plural in the Kurdish language when they're used in the nominative case. So as you can see, you say children, many children, but you only say zarok. There's no way, there is no suffix or prefix or anything to clarify that this noun is plural. So you understand by looking at the context. So as you can see, when you say 12 zarok, 12 children, you clearly mean that there are 12 children, many children. So anyway, let's move on. 12 zarok. 12 zarok. 12 children. 14 khani. 14 khani. 14 houses. 14 houses. 15 takhte. 15 takhte. 15 boards. 5 qalam. 5 qalam. So you also see the digits. 5 pens. 17 bizin. 17 goats. 19 chelek. 19 cows. 4 haval. 4 haval. 4 friends. 10 dar. 10 dar. 10 trees. So here is something that you need to pay close attention. When the digit 1, so yek, is used with nouns, it becomes ek and goes at the end of the noun. So you're going to understand better with these examples. So yekmal, you don't say yekmal because this yek becomes ek and it goes at the end of the noun. It becomes malek, one house, a house, or home. Yekmal, malek, one home, a home. Yek qalam, one pencil, a pencil, becomes qalamek. And another thing is that when the noun ends in a vowel, ek becomes yek. Doesn't change anything, just you need to add a ye sound there. Yek khani ends in a vowel, khani means house, becomes khani yek, one house. Yek mase means table, becomes mase yek. So here are the important things that you need to pay attention to when you use these numbers with the nouns. So right now, let's see other numbers like 20, 30, 40, 50, and 100. Let's see them in the board. So dear friends, after the digits, numbers from 10 to 19, let's now see the decimal numbers and some other numbers in the Kurdish language. I've got another important point at the end of the video, at the end of this part actually. Decimal numbers in the Kurdish language are like this. Try to pronounce like as I pronounce, try to imitate my sound actually. Deh, as we've seen, deh. 20 is beast, beast. 30 is s. In some regions, they say si, like in the place where I was born, we don't say s, we say si, but in the standard language it is s. 40 is chill, chill. 50 is penji, penji. Pay close attention to this sound, e, penji. 60 is shist, shist. As I said, pay close attention to this e sound. It's a bit complicated. 70 is hafte, hafte. 80 is hashte, hashte. And finally, 90 is nod, nod. So I want to talk about the numbers related to hundreds, like 100, 200, 300, thousands. So 100 is said, 200 is düset. So as you can see, it's quite easy. You just say two and you say 100. Düset, 200, just like the English language. 300 is seset. As you can see again, you say 3 and then you say 100. 300, seset. And it's exactly the same thing with others like 400, 500, 600, charset, penset, shesset, hafset, hayset, nehset. It goes on like this. I didn't want to talk about all of them, but it's exactly the same logic as in the English language. And we've also got hazar, which means 1,000, 1,000, hazar. So here this point is quite significant. So when another number is added to these numbers, so when you say 45, 52, like 67, you need to use u. U in the Kurdish language exactly means and. You need to use u between them, and you go from the big number to the small one. How? Like this. So when you say 41, just like the English language, you say chil and you need u, chilu yek. When you say 35, you need to say 30 and 5, but you have to remember that you need an u here. Sihu pinch. How you say 89? Hashte uneh. Then you say, first you say 80, then you say 9, but you need this u, don't forget it. Nodu neh, 99. Nodu neh. But first you say 100, said, then you say 90, nod, then you say neh. But don't forget u in between them. Sedu, nodu neh, 199. 1199 or 1199. First, from the big number to the small one. Hazar, 1,000, said, 100, not 90, neh, 9. But don't use these oos in between them. Hazaru, sedu, notu, neh. 1199. So these are all of the numbers, as I've mentioned, from the digits to the numbers, decimal numbers, hundreds, thousand. By the way, I want to say this as well. It's exactly the same logic with the hundreds. To mean 2,000, you say duhazar. Exactly the same logic as the English language. 2,000s, duhazar. Se hazar, 3,000s, 4,000s, char hazar, like this. So finally, I'm going to talk about how to ask how many, how much in the Kurdish language, and then we are going to end the video. So dear friends, let's finally end this video and let's finally learn how to ask how many students, how many pencils, how many books, how many erasers, how to ask about these questions in the Kurdish language. So when we ask the number of things, the number of something, we use chend. It means how many. And not to confuse your mind with a lot of information, I just want to talk about chend, which means how many. And as you know, in the English language, how many is only used with countable nouns. With uncountable nouns, you use how much, but I didn't want to confuse you with a lot of information. And it seems like this video has been a bit longer compared to other videos. So I just want to talk about chend, which means how many. So I have clarified 3 important points here. I'm going to talk about them one by one. So if chend is used before nouns, it asks how many. So, چند خوانندکار د پلی دهنه؟ چند خوانندکار د پلی دهنه? It means how many students are there in the classroom. It's used before the noun, and it means how many students. چند خوانندکار د پلی دهنه? How many students are there in the classroom? 20 خوانندکار د پلی دهنه. There are 20 students in the classroom. 20 خوانندکار د پلی دهنه. So that's how you use chend to mean how many. And there's this second point, which is if chend is used in place of nouns, not before them, in place of nouns, it asks about things or people, and it becomes the interrogative pronoun. So you ask that thing, or those people, or those things, but you don't mention them. In place of them, instead of them, you use chend. So let's look at the example, and you are going to get it better. We chend khwarin o chend hishtin. We chend khwarin o chend hishtin. It means how many did she eat and how many did she leave? Let's forget the question mark here. So it is used instead of, like, let's say, we chend sev khwarin u chend sev hishtin. This is just like an example. How many apples did she eat and how many apples did she leave? But you omit that apple, instead of that, you use chend as an interrogative pronoun. We chend khwarin u chend hishtin, and like for the answer, you say something like we se khwarin u du hishtin. She ate 3 and left 2. That's how you use chend as an interrogative pronoun. And finally, I want to clarify this as well, because you might come across it. The word chend is sometimes used to mean some, like some people, some things, some classrooms. And in that case, it's not to ask questions. It means some. So let's look at these two examples. Chend hava luren. It doesn't ask something like how many friends. It says some friends are there. So you let's visualize something. Let's imagine that you're walking through the streets and you see some friends over there. You say, chend hava luren. Some friends are there. Some friends are there. Chend hava luren. It means some friends. Chend qalam vane. Here are some pens. Chend qalam vane. So a friend of you asks whether you have some pencils, and as an answer you say, Bali, chend qalam vane. Chend qalam vane. Here are some pens. So that brings us to the end of our video. In this video, we've learned the numbers, the digits, the numbers, decimal numbers, hundreds, 100,000, and we've learned how to use them with nouns, how to ask questions about them. That's it for today. So take care of yourself, pay close attention. If you need, watch the video a few times and try to get my explanations, the examples, try to grab them as better as possible. So take care of yourself, and I'm going to see you in the next videos. Bye.